Hey everyone, a nerd named Mark here, and I'm actually doing a TV show review for She-Hulk episode 1. Now, right off the bat, little forewarning, I'm gonna not really spoil the episode at all. And I'm not gonna sit here and I'm not gonna pander or pretend that I've been watching everything from a MCU show standpoint on Disney Plus. I actually haven't. Um, Honestly, I think I've only watched a few series that they've put out so far. I know I watched WandaVision, Loki, Falcon and Winter Soldier, and Miss Marvel, the latter of which I strictly watched it because I was actually curious how they would showcase Kamala in a live action format. And I think Iman Vellani portrayed the character very well. I just had some issues they changed from the comic book standpoint, but then again, it is a newer character in the comic book sense. So I was like, I kind of gave them a little, wasn't on as, strict, or I wasn't as like hard on it from a critic standpoint. I will say that this is actually one of the few shows I was curious about because I'm not the biggest She-Hulk fan, and I don't have a lot of knowledge of the character. The only thing I've ever read was I have volume one of the Savage She-Hulk, which was like the first, I think, 25 issues, and then I have the very short, I think it was like 6 issues, the Single Green Female that was written by Dan Slott, which I thought was very entertaining. Um, he did kind of bring some humor into it, and Jennifer Walters was a little more entertaining as a character, and it wasn't so like, for a while there, if you went through like the Savage She-Hulk and the Sensational She-Hulk and stuff like that, a lot of stuff mirrored everything that was already happened with the Hulk. We had a gray She-Hulk and everything else. Then when you go further into like MIA, where we had the red She-Hulk and everything else, it got a little more obscure, but there was always that in the beginning from like 80, 1980 to like what, I think it was like 85 or 6 maybe. My dates are off. I know someone's gonna correct me. Where she seemed like a carbon copy of the Hulk. From it was just some story stuff was changed, but like I said, she got a gray Hulk and everything else, and it kind of meh. So I don't have a huge knowledge of this character, and I won't pretend to. But I will say, after watching the first episode of She-Hulk, I didn't hate it, and after a second viewing of it and kind of letting it digest and sit on it a bit, I actually did enjoy it a bit more. I think this style is what I would prefer more from Disney Plus series for the MCU shows. It didn't really take itself too serious. There were some good banter back and forth between, Bruce and Jennifer. I do want to say that like after everything else that's been going on with like all this multiverse, time travel, quantum realms, I need something that's just grounded in just, there we go, a sitcom style. None of this like doom and gloom. Oh, especially after Multiverse of Madness, like I cannot wait for this trope and this trend of like multiverse crap to be over. So I'm really hoping She-Hulk doesn't dive into that at all, and it's very grounded. So far, it seems to be the case. Um, I will say I was really surprised with the amount of like Mark Ruffalo, like Bruce Banner Hulk we got in this like first episode. I literally thought we were only gonna get maybe like 5-10 minutes. That was it. No, majority of the episode he was in a lot of the scenes. He was there. I will say that there were some stuff was hinted at, like how he was able to become Bruce again, how he was able to merge himself with the Hulk and all this other stuff, and he was really trying to train Jennifer most of the time on like the balance, controlling her anger and stress and everything else, which was made for some entertaining moments. And then there was a moment that I'm going to address. It was very polarizing and controversial on social media, where Jennifer basically was berating Bruce, talking about like, listing off everything she has to deal with on a daily basis as a professional and as a female. And I think out of context and without all the situation, like the full episode behind it, a lot of people thought that was like she was basically discrediting and disregarding everything Bruce went through. And that's not the case. This isn't a Bruce Banner show. So we did get some hints, like, there was a bar that was built when him and Tony built, and then, all this little subtle stuff. And I was like, okay, because I know I think the Hulk rights expire from what Universal or whatever the company is that has it right now next year. So I feel like we're on the cusp of getting a Hulk show, and I wouldn't want too much Hulk in this because it's just going to tease us, you know. Um, so we do, however, get to see a nice She-Hulk and Hulk fight. Uh, and I will say the CG this time around in the final of this episode, like the release of it, a lot better than what we saw months ago. I will give them some credit on that. I'm watching it in 4K on my nice big Samsung, like Ultra Crystal, whatever bullshit. And I will say there are times where you can see color tones change in both She-Hulk and Hulk, and you can see some of the wonky stuff with like her mouth movements as the Hulk. But I am genuinely impressed with the final release of it. I'm not going to. I'm still giving it the chance. I'm gonna give it a chance. I know it's running longer than most shows. I think it's 9 episodes. But I know they said it's gonna be very sitcom based and everything else, and I'm like, I will enjoy that. I think it has potential. Then I didn't like right before I started recording this, I saw some stuff on social media where there's a lot of cameos from other like MCU characters, and I was like, I didn't know that ahead of time when I was watching the episode, so that wasn't really in my head when I was figuring out what I was gonna say when I talk about it. And I'm hoping it's not anything that's gonna push narratives forward for like the films, because one of the main things I hated was if you go watch Multiverse of Madness, you have no idea what's going on with Wanda if you don't watch WandaVision. If and all and that's my main thing is like these Disney shows don't need to be necessities to watch the films. They should be like a garnish or like a side dish. They don't need to be a part of the main course, but they're there just to enjoy and still add more to it. But yeah, this is actually I'm really intrigued on where this show is gonna go. I'm trying not to spoil it. I don't want to really do spoiler episodes. I don't want to do the whole thing where I go over everything that was, said or shown. But I will say, out of all the MCU shows that have been put out on Disney Plus, and when I say MCU shows, I'm talking about the shows that have come out since Disney Plus launched. When they add in, like, Daredevil and Luke Cage and stuff like that, I'm not counting those because some of the, like, I will, like, a lot of stuff can't compare with those. But I will say this definitely, I was impressed. I didn't hate it. I did enjoy it. I'm going to watch episode 2. Whether or not I continue through the whole show or wait and just binge it all when it's done is to be seen. But I do want to try and review at least all of these, episodes. Now, before I end the video, I have to talk about the elephant in the room, which is Captain America's virginity. Now, for those of you who don't want spoilers, you can end now, but the thumbnail kind of spoils it. There was a whole part of this episode where before she even gets in her car crash to get, everything, which they changed subtly they obviously changed her origin, but I'm not gonna get into that. I will say that there was a discussion on Captain America being a virgin. And then there were scenes where the Hulk was like, hey, you can drink and get a buzz, but never be drunk. And then she's drinking and she's talking about, how sad it was Captain America never got laid. And Banner hit her with the, I think it was like 1943 USO girl. That's when Captain America lost his virginity. And then we got one of the best endings for the credits where she's like, Captain America fuck, and they don't let her say fucks. Just like they never let, Spider-Man say it twice, Nick Fury say it when he got dusted, all this other stuff. And I thought it was entertaining. What it really had to do with, any of the show, nothing, honestly. I just thought it was funny. It was very entertaining. I know a lot of people think it's campy, and a lot of people are shitting on it, saying the show is stupid and, everything else. Like I said, I'm not going to go down that road. Any issues I have with it, I will, say from a constructive standpoint and a critique standpoint, what is wrong with it. But I really enjoyed it. I think it's a decent show. I think it's, like I said, it's a change we needed from the MCU ones, because all the other ones were like not so lighthearted and just casual viewing, so to speak. And this is definitely a casual viewing show. I'm curious for next Thursday when the second episode comes out, because I feel like that might be good. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna check out more of these. I have some other stuff I'm working on as well, trying to get back into more reviewing stuff, kind of break up the content on the channel so it's not just, Toku stuff all the time. And obviously, you can see all the nice stuff behind me. I got a lot of toy videos and other stuff coming up as well. But yeah, if you watched the first episode of She-Hulk, let me know in the comments below what you think. Don't forget to like the video, share, subscribe to the channel. Past 700 subscribers. The next goal for me is 800. I'm gonna. My goal is to hit 800 by like Thanksgiving. I mean, I know I set the bar kind of like not that high, but I try and be realistic based on the analytics, the growth, and everything. Every once in a while, I get surprised when I get a bunch of subscribers, but I am aiming for 800 by Thanksgiving. And yeah, so I thank you guys for watching, and I'm going to be doing more of these because I'm curious now what's going to continue with the She-Hulk TV series. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.